Oh, hey, just a quick message from your host. If you happen to be listening to the audio version of this on other platforms such as Apple Music and Amazon Music, I would suggest for this particular episode that it's very visual. So either hop on over to Spotify or head to the YouTube channel Melanated Wise Girl, where you can watch this interview. A lot of things get shown, and I don't want you to miss anything just because you just happen to not be able to see it. So I thought I'll give you that FYI. Though this podcast will be video and audio friendly, just want to give you the heads up. Also, I didn't get a chance to say this in the episode, but thank you guys so much for the lovely response on the first episode. I do truly appreciate it. And yeah, all right, let's get into the intro. Hi, welcome to the Melanated Wise Girl AfterShow. I am your host, Tatyana, aka your digital Melanated Wise Girl, and we have a special guest with us today. Everybody, welcome Cam.
Hi.
I don't have an applause effect, and I feel like I should. Yay, there we go. Okay, so, Cam, for those who may not know you, why don't you give a little elevator pitch of like who you are, what kind of content you make?
Hi, I'm Cameron, or Cam, doesn't matter. I feel like I do mostly YouTube, I'd say. And I do mostly Percy Jackson videos, but sometimes other stuff is sprinkled in there. Sometimes you get some Stranger Things, sometimes you get some Marvel. I just kind of talk about whatever fandom I feel like talking about. Mostly, though, it's Percy Jackson. And then sometimes I also make TikToks for Percy Jackson, but TikTok can be a scary place, so we kind of stick to YouTube.
If I don't know.
Yeah. The people on TikTok, like, you would think that if they don't like the Percy Jackson TV show, they would just keep hitting not interested on any TikTok that involves the Percy Jackson TV show, but instead, it's like all they live for, and it's really weird. It's weird behavior.
When I say, I'm like, please stop using my videos as the IMDb review section, I'm so serious.
Oh my gosh.
Because, like, they were like, in my personal opinion, and I'm like, okay, this is about Percabeth. This isn't about what you thought of season 1. Please leave.
Because I do a lot of, like, reaction videos. I do talking videos, but I also do a lot of reaction videos for a lot of different stuff, and I will clip my reactions for TikTok. And so, like, I'll put, like, oh my god, if you look at my Percy Jackson TikTok reactions, like, some of them have, like, over 1 million views. Like, the one of me reacting to the very first scene where we see Zeus, so many views, and that's because all of the comments are bitching about having black Zeus. They're like, Zeus isn't black. Why is Zeus black? And I'm like, hey, Zeus isn't real. I hate to break it to you. He's not real.
Yeah, we don't... Media literacy in that app, I'm realizing.
Dead.
Every, like, few days or so, there's something I post, and then something else happens. I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to have a crash out really quick. Maybe I should just delete this app. But I'm like, I can't.
No, it's too fun.
And then you see something really fun, and you're like...
Yeah.
No. Okay, so thank you for your pitch. Now, I do want to ask, before we get into the Percy Jackson of it all, I like asking people, what was their, like, fandom beginning? So, like, what was the thing that had you, like, dive into either, like, stan culture or, like, fandom stuff or things of that nature?
Well, I feel like mine could be twofold, because you've got, like, there's, like, the one path that's, like, Harry Potter. Like, okay, so we'll start with this path. I would say, like, my first, like, fandom was probably Harry Potter, because my mom read me the books. Like, we would read, like, 1 or 2 chapters before going to bed, and then I got old enough to start reading the books on my own, and then I got old enough to, like, witness the last couple of Harry Potter movies in theaters, like, with my mom and my sister. So, like, that, I think, was, like, my first real fandom. And then I was into Star Wars, specifically just the original trilogy, though, because my mom was into Star Wars. And then I'd say, like, on my own, really, like, I was into Hunger Games, and then as I got older, Stranger Things. I read the Percy Jackson books when I was younger, but because of, like, my mom reading me the Harry Potter books and my sister being into Harry Potter, like, like the family that I grew up with, like didn't cultivate the Percy Jackson interest. They cultivated a Harry Potter interest. So I read them like when I bought them at like my school book fair, but like that was it. That's also why I never read Heroes of Olympus, which I'm in the middle of right now, which is I'm having a great time with. But like, so I only read the first 5, and then that was kind of it. And like I got, you know, really into like Hunger Games. Like I dressed like Katniss in her reaping outfit for like the first movie. Like I braided my hair, like all that jazz. And then, like I said, Star Wars was a pretty big one. That's probably why, I think Star Wars is the main reason why me and my now fiance started dating, because he like overheard me talking about Star Wars in like Spanish class. And he was like, oh, she seems kind of cool. And then we started dating. So like,
love that.
That was, you know, a big part of it. And then before we get into like when I really got like big into Percy Jackson, the other branch of fandom culture would be like One Direction and like 5 Seconds of Summer. That was, I think, the biggest one for me, because I grew up, this is far too much backstory, but I grew up as a dancer. So like my time, I didn't have a lot of time to like do like other stuff. Like it was wake up, go to school, go straight from school to dance. So I would say One Direction and like getting into like bands and stuff was a big, and like Taylor Swift was like a big part of like getting into fandom culture. But then there was also like the other sort of movie and stuff that I was into. But yeah,
I feel like that's like very 2 different worlds, but it makes so much sense, like especially if you were in fandom culture around that time.
I think it's super important. Like I know you and I talk about this all the time, how like with a lot of Percy Jackson people, you can tell it's kind of like baby's first fandom.
Yeah.
You could tell, like, because especially if they're younger people, like, it is probably their first, like, big fandom. But, like, some people, I think, if you grew up in a fandom like One Direction, you've been through it for years. Like, you're seasoned, you're a veteran, like, you got it under control. You know what I mean?
I feel like, so I wasn't into One Direction because I was going through a not like other girls phase in middle school and high school. So I was into, I don't know if you know them, R5 with Ross Lynch.
I do.
Yeah. So I was in that like baby section of Twitter that was like into that and like Disney. But I would look far and there was like One Direction and Justin Bieber stands are fighting again.
Oh my god.
I do have one question, since you did talk about One Direction. How was the day that Zayn left? Like, what was that like for you?
Oh my god. It was so, like, sad. Like, it was like, it wasn't really just like sad personally, but like, so I was in high school when it happened, because it was 2015. So like I remember going to school, and it was really weird because like you could walk the hallways and you could tell who was into One Direction and who wasn't, just based on like the person's vibe. Like people were like viscerally upset. Like I was viscerally upset, but like I would walk past like a girl that like I wouldn't even really know her name, but I could like tell by looking at her that she was probably a One Direction fan and she was upset. And like me and my best friend at the time were like crying to each other during lunch period because it was just so sad. We didn't know what to do.
No, because it's so funny, because everybody I know who was a big One Direction fan was like, I remember today like it was yesterday, and it's just like go off and they like look off into the distance, and I'm like, do you need a minute?
I know. It's a little less traumatizing now because I mean this doesn't matter, but like Zayn's a little reformed in a way. Like he's talking about One Direction more, and he seems to like, you know, actually reflect on it in a positive way, when for years, like, because it wasn't even just him leaving One Direction. Like he left One Direction, then like him and Louis were like shitting on each other on Twitter, like tweeting back and forth like fuck you, and then like Louis's mom died and Zayn didn't come to the funeral. It was a mess. It was a capital M mess, and they unfollowed each other on Instagram, and you would think that they would never talk to each other ever again. Guess what? They're coming out with like a Netflix show next year. That.
It's so funny.
Huge for me.
I was like, this has to be a really big thing. I, on my hand, hope R5 never comes back together. If I was like, if I ever do like a real life band deep dive on my YouTube channel, it will be R5 because they were
Oh my,
kind of the messiest people
oh
ever.
my goodness.
Um, Even though Record did deserve to win Dancing with the Stars, but that's a whole nother thing.
Oh my goodness.
Um,
Lots of people I think deserve to win
oh,
it, and then they end up not
there's
doing it. So,
yeah, there's a list.
yeah.
So, now going into Percy Jackson, how specifically did you go back to the books? Since you said you kind of just read the first five and then you came back
Yeah.
into the series.
So I got, like, so all the fandoms and stuff that, like, I just, like, listed out were, like, I'd say maybe, like, 20 to 30% of, like, my life. Like, I wasn't, because I had so much other stuff to do, and I felt like I was so busy with other stuff. But then in 2015 I quit dance, and then in 2016 I started dating my boyfriend, now fiance, and because of him I got into Marvel, which is I think probably one of my biggest fandoms. You can't see it behind me. There's like a Daredevil helmet,
Oh, I love that.
and it's like signed, and over here, let me just give you a tour real quick. Over here is my Bucky Barnes shrine and my TASM posters, so there's lots of Marvel stuff behind me. So like in 2017 Spider-Man Homecoming came out, and I'd never seen a Marvel movie except for maybe like 2 of them, and he was like, let's go see it, and I was like, okay. I was like, do I need to see the other movies? And he was like, no, you'll be fine. And he was kind of right. I was like, okay, I get who Iron Man is, it's fine. And then later in 2017 Thor Ragnarok came out, and he was like, let's go see it, and I was like, okay, quick question, who's Thor? And so then we watched all the Marvel movies, and then I got really into Marvel. So that was like my big fandom for a while. And then like in 2021, kind of post COVID, also not to be too sad or anything, but after my cats had died, I was like sad and was looking for something to like make me not sad. So I repurchased the Percy Jackson books while I was in college, because like I hadn't found my old books from the book fair yet. So I just reordered like the hardcovers on Amazon, and I read them, and I was like, this is good. I forgot how good these are. Damn. And then I made my first Percy Jackson YouTube video in March of 2022, like talking about potential Percy Jackson casting, like for the character of Percy Jackson in the TV show, because this was before Walker had even been announced.
Oh, wow.
I know. And then like 2 weeks later, they announced that Walker was playing Percy Jackson, so I was like, okay, I'll make a video about this too. I just made a video. I'll make another one. And my first Percy Jackson video was like my first real like sitting down talking to the camera YouTube video. Before that, most of my videos were just vlogs, and I wasn't very consistent on YouTube. So then they cast Walker, and I was like, okay, I'll make a video about that. And then they cast Arian and Leah, and I was like, okay, I'll make a video about that. And then that just snowballed into making Percy Jackson videos all the time.
I think it's so interesting. I think for me, it was Leah's casting in particular. Like, I saw Walker's casting, and I was like, oh, this kid looks cool. Like, the mac and cheese commercial or whatever kept going viral, and I was like, oh, cool. He's gonna be fine. And
That's so
then
funny.
I was just like scrolling during my lunch break at work, and I was like, hold on a second. And I think I might have like an old tweet when I, on like another account, I have like, what's it? I was like, there's no way that they just decided to do a black Annabeth.
I remember being so shocked at like the visceral reaction to it.
Yeah.
Like shocked but not shocked, because shocked because obviously like people always have to have a problem when they race swap from specifically from a white to black character. But like I remember people being so mad about she's not blonde, and that's so big to her character. And I remember being like, can you guys really not put together like why being blonde is important to Annabeth's character and connect the dots that like being black would be the exact same importance and does the exact same thing that being blonde does? It's arguably worse, but you know what I mean.
It's so funny because I wasn't like really tapped into it until like the show really started like doing press. So I knew that it was getting backlash, of course, because I'm a black girl on the internet, but like I didn't know how bad it was until I was doing research for my Annabeth video. And I was looking at the comments, and I was like, oh my God. Like, that's why I'm like often like, but when people are like, I don't care about this casting, I was like, but you cared enough to send a
But you
12-year-old
do.
girl hate.
But you do.
I will
It's
continue.
it's so crazy. And people are so mad about it, and it's like, it's been 3 years.
It's not gonna change. They're not gonna...
She's not gonna get any blonder. I'll tell you that much for free. So let's relax and let's just move on.
Okay. So, we're talking about Percy Jackson, of course, transitioning. Something may have happened recently that you just might want to talk about. I don't know, you might have posted something about it. If you want to talk about it a little bit.
Maybe. Okay, so over a year ago, around a year ago, I got an email, a silly little email from Disney, and they were like, hey, do you want to come out to Vancouver and visit the Percy Jackson set? And I said, okay, that's crazy. So Disney flew me out last December while they were filming season 2, and I got to visit the set.
So that sentence in itself is crazy.
It's so crazy. What's so funny is at set they gave us a couple of things. They're behind me. Okay, so hang on. One of the things they gave us were like an official necklace. So these are like the necklaces that like people wear in the show, like with the actual beads they wear. So they gave us that, and they also gave us these. They're like these bandanas. And this has been behind me in my YouTube videos.
I'm just realizing, I was like, has that been behind you the whole time, and you just haven't? That's hilarious. Been behind me the whole time. I think they're from the costume department. They said that these are going to be in the chariot race scene. I haven't really seen them yet, though. But they have them made for, like, a whole bunch of different colors, and they got all the oh, that's so pretty.
The thingies, what word am I looking for? Godly parent symbols on there. And so they gave us ones with the colors that like go with our godly parent. So I'm Athena, so I got a yellow one. Someone else that was there was Aries, so they got black. Someone else was Poseidon, so they got blue. And so this has been behind me for over a year, and no one knows what it is, but they do now.
They do now. So you went with a group of people, and what exactly was this like a day thing or a 2-day thing? Like, how did this all work?
It was literally like, it was technically, I guess, 4 days, like a day of travel, and then 2 days in the middle. It was 2 days. We literally got there on like on the 2nd. And then December 3rd was a day on set. It was the last day of outside shooting. So it was funny because like the cinematographer and stuff was like posting about how it's their last day shooting outdoors, and everyone on Twitter, like Percy Updates, was like, it's like Percy Jackson season 2 has finished its outdoor filming or whatever. And I wanted to be like, I'm literally here right now, but I couldn't.
Puts location so we were there, here.
we were there for their last day of outdoor filming, and then the second day, December 4th, was all in the studio, like at the soundstage. So it was really cool, like getting the two completely different and separate experiences. It was awesome.
Yeah. As someone who works within film, it's always so cool to see like how a soundstage can like turn into literal, like going inside and you're like, oh my god, this is literally like, looks like a room.
Yeah. Dude, the soundstage, I'm gonna pull up a picture. Like the soundstage that we went to was the big house.
Oh, okay.
And they took pictures of us with everybody, and this is one of my favorite pictures ever because it's in a soundstage.
Oh,
and
wow.
It's like the big house is behind us, but it looks so...
That looks so good.
It looks so nice. It's so nice for a soundstage.
So you mentioned you did 2 days. So talking to the cast, doing videos, like what was your whole sweep there?
So day 1, we started the day out at Camp Half-Blood, like so at all the cabins, which was cool. And before even going, we had to send like a content list of things that we had planned to film to the Disney reps, and they had to approve it, and they were like, that's like, we're good. Nothing got like, they didn't say no to anything on my list, so I don't know how like insane like the approval process was for that. And I also don't think I stayed true to my list, but it's whatever. So like we spent some time filming like just like ourselves around Camp Half-Blood and stuff, and then we went further into the woods where they were actually shooting a scene with Walker, Daniel, Arian, and Leah. and we got to sit in like a little tent and watch them film on a screen. And then they brought us all the way up closer, like right next to the director's chair, so we could watch them film with our eyes, which was cool. It was a long, long, long process because you'd be shocked how many times it's a close up of Walker's face and you think you're looking at Daniel standing behind him, but it's a body double. You think you're seeing the corner of Leah's purple jacket, but it's not Leah, it's her body double. And so like we're watching them film and it's just Walker and like 3 body doubles around him. And then as we're watching, like Leah walks by us like with the like her handler. I don't know if that's the word. That sounds like a weird word to use, but like
PA,
the person that,
probably production assistant was her, yeah.
Whatever it is, was like walking with her because I guess she had to go because her like she was about to actually need to be used, and so she like stopped and talked to us, and I was like, I love you. um, there's like a picture of her because the guy who like takes official stills of Percy Jackson was following us around for those days, so like he was taking pictures of us all the time, and there's a picture of us when Leah walks by for the first time and saying hi to us and talking to us, and everyone looks so normal. I have the craziest fucking eyes you've ever seen. I get crazy eyes from my mom, like when I'm smiling a bit too much, like it's a lot, and I look insane in that picture. Like it looks nuts. But so we watched them film. I immediately knew that they were filming something different from the book. Like the minute I heard them talking, I was like, this is different. Something's different. They changed it, which I think the Disney reps were impressed by, if I do say so myself.
There you go.
But then we went back to Camp Half-Blood. Day 1 was a lot of just being at Camp Half-Blood, which, hey, I don't mind. Lunch was in the middle of the chariot race set, because they're not really using it anymore, but it's a big space. It's like the big old white long tent that everyone would eat lunch in was in the middle of the chariot race set. And at lunch, we're all sitting there, and the Disney reps are like, okay, so after lunch we're gonna go back up to Camp Half-Blood and you guys are gonna film with Arian and Daniel. We pulled things off of your content lists that we think will work well with them. And I was like, hang on one minute. What do you mean we're filming with the cast? Because in the email that I received when you guys told us what we were going to be doing, you said we might meet the cast. Might. You didn't say that I would get to film with them. I had nothing prepared.
Oh my god.
So they're going down the list. Then after everyone went through their content, they got to me and they're like, Cameron, we kind of didn't really have, like, there was nothing really on your content list that we thought we could pull. So do you have any video ideas to film with them? And I was like, thankfully I have a list in my phone that I've had in my phone for like over 2 years of questions I would ask the Percy Jackson cast if I ever met them, and it's just a list that I've added to over the past couple years. Like whenever I am like in the shower and I think of a good question in like a hypothetical interview scenario, I would like add it to my list.
I'm so glad I'm not the only one, because I also have a list, and I am learning this is a good situation to have.
You never know when you're gonna need it. I was like, okay, I could do it. I could pull out an interview, because I had a couple and then I added a couple more. And then I was like, I could also do trivia. Like I read the Sea of Monsters book like maybe a couple of months before I got invited to set. And I was like, thank God. Because I was like, yeah, I can do that trivia that person said they wouldn't do. And they're like, oh, that's great. That's so great. They love doing trivia. And I was like, okay. So I had the walk from the chariot race set to Camp Half-Blood to come up with trivia. And now it's like me. Like, I had like 7 minutes to come up with trivia. And then we're at Camp Half-Blood. And Daniel and Arnie arrive. And they're like, okay, Cameron, we're going to have you go first. Mind you, the 3 people that I am here with, the other 3 content creators, have all met and interviewed these people before. They have met and interviewed the cast before. I said, we're going to make me go first. You guys know I've never done this before.
They said, let's see what you can do. Put you up to the bat.
I was like, not only have I never met anybody on the Percy Jackson cast before, I have never interviewed any celebrity of any caliber before. I've never spoken to a celebrity of any caliber before, except for at a Comic-Con or the one time I met Tom Holland outside, like, in a hotel. Like, lore drop.
A lot of process, but yeah, I can see how you're kind of losing it.
And I literally, I'm gonna post, obviously, the interview that I did with Arian and Daniel, but I literally feel like I sound so stupid in it. Like I just say the dumbest thing to Daniel, and then him and Arya don't stop laughing at it. But I don't think they're laughing because it's funny. I think they're laughing because they think what I said is stupid, and I hate watching it.
I think you're also, like, as someone who also does this, you're probably overreacting.
I know.
But I would also be the same way, so I get it. But, like,
Yeah.
I feel like out of everyone, you would probably be like, everybody's like, thank God.
Yeah, I hope I tried to come up with trivia that would stump them, and I did, because I know Aryan and Walker do a lot of, like, they like quiz each other on the Percy Jackson books often, and so I, like, one of the trivia questions was like, name as many as you can, name every god or minor god that shows up in the Sea of Monsters book, because it was book trivia specifically. They were listing all the gods, they were listing all of them, blah 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 blah. I got them. They forgot Cersei. She's a minor goddess.
She is.
Gotcha. Ah, gotcha. I was so excited. And then the next day, I did the exact same videos with Dior Goodjohn, because we also got to meet her on day 2 and film videos with her. So I did the exact same thing for her. I asked her the exact same trivia question, and the very first one she listed was Cersei.
Girls knowing girls, honestly. That's what it is. But yeah, that's so exciting. Like, what was the funnest part for you out of, like, everything that you got to get to experience?
I am really, really into, like, the behind-the-scenes stuff of Percy Jackson, specifically production design. Like, I think my dream is to interview Dan Henna, who's the production designer, and he also did a lot of production design for Lord of the Rings, but I would specifically, obviously, ask him about Percy Jackson stuff. We got to go into his office. He was not there. I was so sad. On day 2 was a lot of the behind-the-scenes stuff. Like,
Yeah.
obviously, we got to see them film on the soundstage and whatnot, but they were kind of filming the same scene all day. So we got, like, this whole, like, deep dive, 30-40 minute, like, prop presentation with someone from the prop department. I think one of the the ladies that's, like, in charge of the prop department, like, showing us every prop for season 2, some of the props from season 1. Like, I've known what Thalia's shield has looked like forever. I've known what those. I know that Blackjack is going to be in season 2 of Percy Jackson for a year.
Oh, because Blackjack is, yeah.
Because they were like, these are Blackjack's wings. They, like, put the wings on a harness on the saddle of the horse.
Oh,
and
okay, that makes
they're
sense.
like, yeah, these are Blackjack's wings. And then they, like, started talking about, for when blah 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 blah, which I won't say because I think it happens in the last episode of the show. And It doesn't happen in the book. And the prop designer was like, when so and so does this with Blackjack at the end. I was like, yeah.
Only person freaking out.
Yeah, of course. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yep. That was in the book.
Oh my god. I've known what Tyson's eye is gonna look like for so long. I've known oh my gosh, they showed us a gag reel. So I had seen like Hermes, I had seen Thalia, I had seen Ironclad ship stuff, I had seen so much. The whole fight scene where Luke's army is at Camp Half-Blood that we've seen snippets of in the trailer?
Yeah.
I've seen it. I've seen what it's going to look like. It's going to look insane. It's going to look insane. The stunt department was crazy.
I can't wait for people to go back to your tweets. That person could be me, depending on it. Be like, oh, that's crazy, because on January 15th.
No, because I actively, like, I've been tweeting so much in the past year. I've been like, I would give anything to interview the executive producers of Percy Jackson. And I got to do that on day 2, which was so fun. And, like, we went to the costume department. Oh
my God.
Mind you, I was the first person to try on Grover's wedding dress outside of Grover and Walker. Not Grover, hello? Outside of Aryan and Walker.
Yeah.
I put the dress on. I'm not allowed to share what the dress looks like until December 10th. That has its own separate embargo. Yeah. So they're very locked down on that, but I was the first person to put it on, which was wild. Just so much stuff. I know, like, we did a prop tour, we did a costume department tour, and then we did a bunch of stuff with the stunt team. The stunt team is insane. They showed us fight scenes, a big fight scene that's going to happen between Percy and Luke with, like, their body stand-ins doing it, and then a big fight scene that's going to happen with Clarice, and then they showed us, like, a video of like the final battle. That's like with the cinematography that's going to be used, and it was crazy.
See, for me, that would be like the little, like the film nerd in me, the film major in me, be like, oh my god, oh my god. To be like, Tatyana the cat, shh, I want to learn more about it.
No, it was like
Keep going.
when we first got to Mammoth Studios, which is the soundstage that they film in, like we walked into like the Percy Jackson offices, so like where the people that like do production design and all that stuff like they have like their literal offices, and the entire every single hallway was lined from ceiling to floor with like storyboards, like drawings and storyboards of what they are envisioning the season to look like, and they were trying to walk me through there fast, and I was like, no guys, stop, because look, it's Cece's Island, guys, stop please, because look, it's this. And they're like, Cameron, we have to go. And I was like, I don't want to. I saw a little stuffed animal version of the guinea pig that Percy's gonna be.
Yeah.
So cute. It was nuts. But so yeah, my favorite thing was probably like all the behind the scenes stuff, because as cool as it is to watch Walker and Leah say the same lines over and over again, which being an actor sounds so tedious, I cannot imagine.
Yeah.
As fun as that is, I think my talents lie behind the scenes. If I could be a job on the Percy Jackson set, it would be within production design, like building the sets, designing the sets, all that jazz. It's my favorite thing ever.
Yeah, production design is so just like an underrated but so cool to like witness in real time. When I don't know if you know, I did a film like last year, and when getting my friend to do like the production design, I let her into my apartment where we shot it, and I said, oh, I have to like go pick some stuff up. I'll be like right back in like 2 hours. I came back, my entire apartment looked different. It was like transformed. I was like, what? It's crazy. And it was like the perfect, like she had my vision so down. I was like, Laura Jean's from like All the Boys I Loved Before, like her living room space. If she had a living room, and she like
crazy.
Killed it. So production designers, I like already give them so much credit, but I was just like, yeah, no, y'all got it. Personally, for me, I think it would be writing, of course, so I'm a screenwriter, for behind the scenes, or some sort of like directing or like that sort of nature. Like,
my second favorite thing was also maybe talking to the executive producers, which some of them also double as showrunners. I got to talk to Craig Silverstein.
Okay.
I got to talk to Albert Kim, who is new. He came over from Netflix's Atla. We stole him. And I got to talk to a producer, not an executive producer, but a producer. Her name is Zoe.
Okay.
And I got to ask them some questions. And a lot of the questions I asked were like, so, not like, I didn't ask it like this, but I was basically like, so, what are things you guys wanted to do in season 1, but you couldn't because money stopped you from being able to do it? Answer. No. And they had answers. They were like, we don't have enough money. And I was like, thank you for saying that to people who think that $30 million is enough to make one episode of TV with today's society.
So I worked on my first ever movie I worked on was a Lifetime movie, and I had a $5 million budget. And I worked in a production office. Okay, first, yeah, I know. I walked in there, I was like, are you sure that's the right amount of money? And
I know. I think people on the internet that were like saying $30 million per episode is more than enough to make fantastic. I was like, I think you are severely underestimating how much it takes to make a costume, how much it takes to make a singular prop. People are not just, the prop department is not going to like Home Depot with their own money and buying the stuff that they need to build the stuff. Every single possible thing that you could need to make a prop and all the iterations that it takes to get to the final prop, that is a lot of money. And then you gotta do that for every prop, and you gotta do that for every costume, and then you gotta pay people for their time, and you're paying so many people within one department, and then you also have to pay all. No, it's not enough money.
No, it's so funny because like even with a $5 million Lifetime movie, I was like in the production office, like helping manage all this stuff. I was like, there's no way. And then they're like, Tatyana, here's our card. Can you go get $200 worth of paper because we need it for sides? And I was like, what kind? And then get like 3 different kinds of colors for the paper because if the script changes, you have to change the color. And then you have to get, like, I was in Office Depot. I was like, I just need to buy out this whole section They're like, do you
So
know how? I was like, just give me everything. Every piece of paper you have, please put it in this cart. Thank you. And then it's like
that's so funny.
the production office alone, I think every day, and that was like a small movie set, I think I spent like $200 a day on lunch, on getting lunch
Yeah,
for everybody.
so much money is spent, and it's like, okay, the prop department lady was talking. Her name is Michelle Hendricks. I need to stop calling her the lady. Her name is Michelle Hendricks, and she was talking about how she was in the process of building like Cersei's telescope, and how like they want it to look a certain way, and like all these things are going into it, and she like got a final design to them and like a list of the products that were needed, and then they were like, yeah, we can't spend $30,000 on a telescope. She was like, so I have to find something else. And I said, got it. That's crazy. Mind you, the telescope will probably be in the show for
2 seconds.
5 seconds.
Yeah.
Like, so it's just crazy.
Honestly, yeah. Until I was doing production on set, I was like, I also, even with like having a film degree, also like, I don't know. And then I was like, oh no, I get it. I get
Yeah.
exactly why they need it. Like, so that's why I
Yes.
was like, I was like, oh, budget increase. I was like, oh, every episode's at least 80 million. At least.
Yeah, the budget increase looked insane. And I would like to say this. I was talking to I think one of the assistant directors and I were having this conversation, and we were just talking about like how everything is so much more practical in season 2. Like the hill that Polyphemus's cave is in, and there's like a tree on top of that hill. They went out in the world and found the perfect hill for it in Vancouver. They built this insane big tree, and they broke it down into 3 parts so they could put it into vans and move it to this hill. And then they rebuilt the tree on the hill just to film them going up to the tree so they could descend down into the cave. And that's going to be like, how long?
Probably a minute.
Not even a minute?
Probably
Not even a minute. Was it worth it? Yeah, because they didn't want to use the volume screen. That's why they did it. They were like, we don't want to use the volume screen at all. We didn't want to use it in season 1, but we had to. We had no choice. And I was like, hey,
They
I
had to
can't
look.
get mad.
They had to do what they had to do to get this season 2.
But it's so funny because people will like shit on the show for using the volume screen, and it's like, baby, they didn't want to use it either. They didn't have the money.
I literally was like, thank you 911 for your sacrifice of having them use the volume screen instead of Percy Jackson.
I don't go there. I don't
I don't either.
that
I
show.
just saw a thing during Dancing with the Stars,
Bad.
and I said, oh,
Bad.
you guys borrowed it. Dang.
Really bad. But like normally a volume screen doesn't bother me all that much.
No.
However, I did recently just get into Avatar: The Last Airbender, and I did just finish Netflix's Avatar: The Last Airbender. I've never had a volume screen piss me off so much.
I was
in my
like,
life.
didn't they use it a lot?
It's
for that?
so bad. It's so bad. And everything behind them is just like feathered so that like, they're like, oh, if we feather them by 5%, you won't be able to tell that they don't blend in. And it's like, no, I can tell.
Yeah, I can.
It's bad.
I just seen clips of that. I was like, yeah, that volume screen is her. Did they just have like a section of like, we don't trust that this is gonna go well, so every studio is just gonna use a volume screen?
I think it was just easier, and specifically when you film in Vancouver, I think, because it's like if you wanted to go to like an actual beach in Montauk to film the fight scene with Ares, it's like you would have to go outside of Canada, and that in and of itself I think is more expensive than just using the volume screen that's in Canada. Talking to the EPs was really fun. The EPs really liked. So by day 2, the Disney reps that were with us could tell that I was a really big book fan. So when one of the EPs came up to us, when Albert Kim, he came up to like introduce himself to us, they're like, these are the people that are here with us. This is Cameron. She's a really big book reader. This is Cameron. She really loves the books. And he was like, oh, do you? Can you? He was like, well, what do you think so far? And I was like, oh, well, I can tell you changed the ending. But I was like, no, but I think I like it. Don't worry, I think I like it. I was like, I really liked the changes in season 1, and I was like, I can kind of tell one of the changes. And then when he was like, oh, well, do you know how? Because I was like, oh, like you're not making this person do this like they do in the book. And he was like, oh, well, then do you know what this person does instead? Like, have you figured that out yet? And I was like, no. And he was like, oh, then I won't tell you. And I was like, okay, whatever that means, Albert. But I figured it out later in the day anyways. But, like, that was fun. And then, like, Zoe, the producer, was, like, showing us a bunch of stuff on her phone. She was the one that showed us Tyson's eye. So, like, in interviews where they talk about the process of doing Tyson's eye, they talk about Tyson time. she told me all about that, like how they take Daniel into a side room and make him do his lines over and over again from a bunch of different angles so that they can actually use his eye. She showed us some stuff from like the siren scene.
The fact that you have siren scene in your brain.
And what she showed me was wild. I was like, that's not in the book. I was like, that's crazy. And I was like, I don't think anybody next to me. So there's that.
Oh my God. I am jealous, but also very happy for you, truly.
Thank you.
Because I feel like if it's anybody, it's you or one of like the OG ones.
I was so shocked when I got the email and stuff. I was like, oh, how fun. I didn't know who all was going to be there.
Okay.
I ran into one of the people that was with me, like, in the elevator of the hotel that they put us up in, which was, by the way, a 5-star hotel. My first time ever in a 5-star hotel. Disney's got that money.
The mouse is good.
It was so sweet of them. But so on day one is when I found out that it was just me and 3 other people. And then I was like, these 3 other people have like millions of followers. I have a decent following on TikTok. I have like almost maybe 20,000 subscribers on YouTube, but that's not a lot compared to a lot of other people. And I was like, I have like not a lot of followers on Instagram. So on the first day I went up to the Disney reps. I was like, so you guys are in charge of the people that you invited here? And they're like, yeah. And I was like, can I ask, and feel free to say you don't want to answer, how did you find me? Because like I said, the 3 other people I was with have a lot of followers. They have also met the cast before. They have interviewed the cast before. So, like, that makes sense. You've interacted with the cast, so it makes sense for the people that are in charge of the show to, like, know you, know your name, etc., etc. So I was like, how did you find me? Respectfully. Turns out they were putting together a list of people to bring, and one of the assistant directors was like, you should check out this girl, Cameron Silas, on YouTube. She makes a lot of Percy Jackson YouTube videos. I think she'd be a really great fit for this set visit. Shout out to that assistant director. Love her. Okay. That's how they found me. If it wasn't for her, they would have never known who I was.
It's truly like you never know who's seeing your content at all because they're like assistant directors. One
time I had no idea that Becky Riordan knew who I was, and one time she tweeted one of my videos where I said that all she does, like, I think I said something like, I said she word vomits on Threads. I was like, so we have to take everything Becky says with a little bit of a grain of salt. But I was very respectful about it. I was like, who among us doesn't word vomit? I just don't think we can take everything that Becky says as Bible, which is fine. And then Becky tweeted my video, not on Threads, mind you. Becky went onto twitter.com.
I'll find her where she's at.
She said, great video, even though apparently I word vomit. I was like, Becky, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean it, Becky, I swear.
The amount of, like, recently, just, like, in my personal thing, when I was at work when I got the notification that she followed me on Threads, and I was like,
yeah, she'll do that at the randomest times.
I was looking around, and luckily in my cubicle, but I was just like,
that's
did
crazy.
She do this by accident? Like,
no, she loves Percy Jackson creators on Threads. Yeah. She loves them.
When when I injured my eye because I scratched it taking out a contact. It's a long story.
Felt.
And I was like, I can't make content, y'all. My eyes are red. I just went to urgent care. She was like, feel better. I was like, oh, that's sweet. So nice. But also, maybe I should be careful what I tweet.
No, you could, I mean, anybody could tell if you look at my Twitter versus my Threads account, there's a very distinct difference.
There's such a distinct difference for me.
One of them has a Riordan following it and one of them doesn't, and that's all I'll say on that.
I have such, like, and also because I work in PR, like entertainment PR, so I have such like certain words that I'll be like on Twitter, I'm like, nobody's gonna see this. And on Threads, I'm like, so today, I turn into a professional so quickly. Yeah. I'm like,
Twitter's just like a diary to me. I just tweet out into the void and it then happened. I'm close to considering monetizing on Twitter for Percy Jackson season 2.
You know what?
I loathe the idea of having to give Elon Musk money in order to get money off of Twitter. Yeah. I don't want to give him that. But also at the same time, when I tweet about Percy Jackson, it goes really viral and I would make money.
Me right now, but I don't have the follower count for it right now. I'm like, can y'all stop liking this? I don't get anything from this. But like a dream. I just tweet things that I'm just like a very comedic person. So sometimes I just tweet things
Oh,
that
your
come
tweets
to
are so funny.
Thank you. That's like the biggest
Your tweets are
compliment.
so funny. But like I'm like, if anybody sees like a check mark next to my name on Twitter,
Look,
mind your own business. Mind your own business. It
the
was an
economy
accident.
these days. You gotta do what you gotta.
I gotta pay rent. If Percy Beth pays my rent, what do you want me to do about it?
I do this for free. It's like I was like, I post these for free. Anything is just gonna end up in a BuzzFeed video, and I'm not prepared for it.
That's happened. Yeah, that'll happen to you.
I think that's gonna happen to me. It's like a lot of people are like, "Oh, it's not." I was like, "No, it's gonna happen."
Oh
to
God,
me.
heaven forbid they ever do. Daniel Dimer reads thirst tweets. You and I are screwed. Screwed.
I'm locking my account.
What,
I was like,
you
please
mean
don't search Daniel
Amanda,
on my
screw-
account. The way
Heaven forbid Toby Stevens reads thirst tweets. It's
Oh, you're
just
done.
gonna be my Twitter.
you're
account.
done. Me, I like if they search Daniel on my Twitter account, it's over for me. It's so over. And the worst part is people that like I love my mutuals, but they're gonna be like, we're doing this BuzzFeed thing, and somebody's gonna reply and be like, search Daniel on Tatyana's Twitter account.
People keep telling me to watch Black Sails.
Me
because of how
too.
much I love Toby Stevens. I want to, and I'm going to eventually.
Yeah.
But also, I don't know if it's good for me to watch Black Sails because I already am obsessed with Toby Stevens, and now you want me to watch him as a sexy pirate?
You know what? Fair. Yeah, I now have a promise to one of the writers that I'll watch it after the season 2. So I have no choice.
I'd probably watch it after season 2 as well because I
Yeah.
feel like the upcoming months are so busy with like Stranger Things and then Percy Jackson and then technically Bridgerton. Bridgerton comes after Percy Jackson, but I will probably watch Black Sails after Percy Jackson.
Yeah, same.
We can watch it together.
Yay, we'll do a watch. Like, let me watch an adult show after Percy Jackson.
Yeah.
Let me lock in on that. But yeah, okay. Moving on a little bit to, even though we can talk about you being on set and everything all day, I want to talk really quick about like season 1 and season 2. So first, what is your favorite episode of season 1 and your least favorite episode of season 1?
I came prepared with this. I have
Okay.
my 2 favorites and I have my 2 least favorites because I feel like they can alternate depending on my mood. Like back when I made my YouTube video where I was like ranking the episodes. Okay, my 2 favorites are episodes 5 and episode 8. And when I did my ranking, I had episode 8 at the top and then 5 at number 2. But I think as of now, as the year has gone by, I think I do have I have episode 5 at number 1 and then episode 8 at number 2. And I'll give you my reasons. Okay, so for episode 5, I have them written down. Okay, so I think episode 5 improved on the Tunnel of Love sequence so much better than the book. I think it's so much better. I don't care. I know everyone was like, but what about Annabeth's arachnophobia, guys?
Oh my god, thank god they didn't put
I
the
was like-
spiders. I would have been
I was
scared.
like, guys, they can also like unpack her. First of all, mind you, in the finale, it's mentioned in passing by Luke that Annabeth hates spiders. Second of all, they can show arachnophobia goddamn anywhere. They don't need to show it here. It's okay. Just because it's not shown here doesn't mean that they're erasing it from her character. People on TikTok will act like just because something is not specifically shown in Percy, like the season 1 of Percy Jackson, it's erased.
It's
And
over.
it can never
It's
be
over.
brought up ever again. And it's like, no, they will probably touch on her arachnophobia later. Another reason why I love episode 5 is because I think one of my number one favorite parts of like the Percy Jackson series in general is the gods and specifically their relationship with their kids. So like whenever an episode heavily involves the gods in it, like I really, really, really like it. So the episode 5 had Ares and it had Hephaestus, which I really liked. I liked seeing Ares a lot. I liked seeing Grover outsmart Ares.
Yeah.
That was really fun. I think that added a lot to Grover's character, and it made him a much stronger character than Book Grover is, at least at this point in time. Like, Season 1 Grover versus Book 1 Grover, no offense to my Book Grover lovers.
No, it's so much better. Honestly, I agree.
Book Grover is hit or miss with me. Sometimes I find him extremely annoying. But I think Show Grover is such an insanely well-developed character. And, like, seeing him... Like, Satyr's number one power is being an empath. And seeing Grover use his powers of being an empath to be able to read Ares and know to feed into his ego, to get onto his good side, to get him to like admit something or whatever, was so good. That's so good. And if anybody didn't like that, I think you're crazy. And then I liked the Golden Throne stuff. I thought that was great. And Hephaestus, I think, is one of my favorite gods. Not that the gods are all that great, but I think Hephaestus is one of my favorites. And I liked him being included. I liked using Hera's Golden Throne. I think it makes for one of the best Percabeth moments in the whole show, and specifically one of Annabeth's best moments. That monologue that she does makes me cry.
That monologue got her an Emmy nomination.
Well, exactly. Like, she's so good, and I think that monologue is written so well, and I think she acted that scene so well. It was just so good. I like how that scene has so many layers to it when you think of, like, Hephaestus' relationship with Athena and his relationship with Poseidon, and the fact that he is talking to, like, a daughter of Athena and a son of Poseidon and all that jazz, and I just love it.
I would agree, and I feel like you covered basically almost everything. That my favorite episode is also episode 5, but because I also really enjoyed the writing of that episode and the banter of that episode. I think it develops the characters so well, in ways like Grover and Annabeth and Percy each have like a little arc within that episode that is really fun to see. And the song and just the comedy, I was like, I just love an episode with a good comedic beat, and the song choice was hilarious.
Oh, I was taking a sip of water when it happened, and I literally started choking on my water. I was like, that's crazy.
And I was like, no way. I just was like, no. I was like, I know they were laughing in the writer's room when they came up with that.
And I'm sure that took a big chunk of their budget for that episode, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think people realize, like, music is so expensive. I learned that the hard way.
People know how much it probably cost to get Olivia Rodrigo's song in episode 1.
That was probably, like, their entire episode 1 budget.
Okay? That probably cost them a lot of damn money for 5 seconds of Sally Jackson sitting in the rain. Okay?
And they probably got that approval, like, right before the premiere. I'm gonna be so honest. Because that's usually, it's, like, one of those reasons is probably, like, she was a big Percy Jackson fan, so probably got it cleared. And I was like, that's probably one of the only reasons they were able to cover it. Or she's like, Disney's like, you owe us a favor or something.
Probably.
We need to cash something in. Can you send us this song? Because, like, songs like that can be like $500,000.
Yeah.
To $1 million for the rights.
Yeah.
Which makes me very interested in what they choose for season 2's scene with the song.
They'll probably have better songs. I'll say that much.
Yeah. Okay. I was like, I know what it's rumored to be, and that would be a crazy grab, and also the budget is insane. But yes, let's go into your least favorite episode, because I
want to say I also like the finale though.
Yes.
I think episode 8 is probably my second. What's your second favorite episode?
It's also episode 8.
Okay, yeah, I feel like those are just kind of objectively the best. Hey, you know me, I'm gonna love any episode that's got Toby Stephens in it, alright?
Of course.
I'm just a girl! But, okay, I like... First of all, you open your episode with Luke saying the words, "Look, you didn't ask to be half-blood."
That's what I knew there was gonna be a banger.
I said it. I'm watching cinema. That's crazy! I knew I was in for such a treat when that happened. I was like, I don't think anybody understands what's happening right now. This is insane. It's crazy. And then I liked the fight between Percy and Ares. I think people complained a lot throughout season 1 about the fight choreography, but I always thought the fight choreography was really great in season 1.
Yeah, I don't know enough to be like, this is bad or this is good, but I was like, I think it's enough for somebody who's 12.
Yeah, that, and people would be like, oh, the fight choreography was so bad. And I'm like, what do you want him? Do you want him to be doing like aerials and kickflips up on top of the St. Louis Arch? Like, it's a tiny hallway. They only have so much room. What do you want him to do? And I was of the opinion that, like, in season 1, they were probably saving, like, the big, like, yeah, I'm Percy Jackson moment in a fight scene to be with Ares, and that's exactly what they did.
Yeah.
Like, with him, with the wave and stuff. So it's like, that his fight scenes weren't supposed to be insane or spectacular before the Ares fight. And then I loved everything with Zeus and and Percy. Like, all that was just so good. I get so sad thinking about the fact that Lance Reddick isn't going to be Zeus anymore. I'm sure Courtney B. Vance is going
he's
to be
gonna
so
do
great.
so well, knowing his acting roles before. Like this, he's going to
Let it shine. Come on now. Come on.
I am
That's my favorite
so
role.
ready for when his first appearance is. The Let It Shine memes I am preparing.
Oh my gosh. But like, I love like people. Also, another thing, people complain so much when season 1 came out. I'm getting war flashbacks. Like, I remember people losing their minds over Percy missing the deadline.
Oh my god, yeah, I do remember that discourse because I was like, what's the issue with that?
People were so mad, and then also they were in the same breath. They were like, "There's not enough tension in the show. There's not enough tension. There's not the stakes aren't high enough." And I'm like, do you understand that Percy missing the deadline automatically makes the stakes higher and makes the tension more insane? Because Percy missed the deadline, Zeus and Poseidon were literally about to be at war versus just the verbal threat of it. The verbal threat of, we're going to go to war unless you get the lightning bolt back to me on time, versus you missed the deadline. So we're about to go to war. We're probably in the middle of war right now. So that is stakes in and of itself. And then Percy returns the bolt. He's late. Fucking Zeus is about to
Zeus still is going to kill him.
Zeus is about to bolt him, and Poseidon shows up, and Poseidon is like, I surrender. That's like his first line. I have goosebumps thinking about that because gods are so egotistical.
Yeah.
Do you know how insane it is for a god to just actively surrender like that? They don't want to do that
at all.
War is important to them. That's like, glory is important to them. To surrender for your child is a crazy move for Poseidon to do, and to do it that easily, like, you could see it on Zeus's face. Zeus was like, okay, you surrender, I win. You know what I mean? Like, that was a big thing for Poseidon to do, and he did it for his kid, which is crazy. And then it's, you add another layer onto the fact that one of the catalysts of Luke's character for the reason he hates the gods is because he got given a quest and he failed that quest. When he came back from his quest that he failed, he was treated like a failure. That's a big reason as to why he doesn't like the gods. Percy also failed his quest. But what does Percy get when he gets home? He is not treated like a failure. He's treated like he successfully did his job, but he technically failed the quest. He missed the deadline to get the lightning bolt back. That was the quest, and he failed it. So now you've added another layer onto Luke and Percy's dynamic because they both failed a quest, but they were treated so completely, vastly different. But people want to say it's bad. I could go on. I could talk about it for hours, but people want to say it's bad. People, no, they don't get it. People will complain about the good parts of the show that they changed from the books, and then they'll ignore the bad parts, which are episodes 4 and 6, which are my least favorites.
Interesting, because mine was 7.
How dare you say that about my Sally and Poseidon flashbacks? You take that back.
Okay, so that is like one of the redeeming qualities of that. So like the adults in the adult scenes in that episode is like one of the only reasons why I would probably switch 6 and 7, because 6
to be
is like
fair, that is
my
mostly
list.
all I remember. That's all I really remember of episode 7.
What gets me about episode 7 was the underworld, but particularly the beginning when they're at Krusty's. I was just like, I can't get through this. This is the one time I was like, okay, the dialogue, let's just get to.
See, I thought that they were going to cut Krusty's from the TV show. And so when they went to Krusty's, people were like so mad that they changed it from the book. And I was like, I thought they were going to cut it. So I don't give a flying
I didn't care that it was different. I just personally didn't like the writing of it. But yeah, which is like another thing. But I was like, they have to change things for a book adaptation. I was just like, I
think I do find it, I mean, I was like having fun.
Yeah.
But it was weird that the guy who played Krusty was also in the movies, because the show, I think, wants to separate itself so much from the movies. I think the show wants to separate itself from the movies so damn bad. I have convinced myself they're not doing the Hydra in season 2. Because the movies did the Hydra, and I think they don't want to do anything the movies did. I have convinced myself, because they're not doing the Bronze Bulls.
No.
They do that in the Sea of Monsters movie. I don't think they want to do the Hydra, because they did that in the first movie.
I wouldn't blame them. The second movie in itself,
awful. God
terrible.
awful.
Grover getting kidnapped though is kind of hilarious. But other than that, I'm just thinking of like that scene. But other than it's just like. But I do agree with 6. Like 6 is like next on my list.
This is what I wrote down for why. Okay, I do still think I liked episode 6 more than most people because I don't have the same issues that I think a lot of other people did. Like a lot of people were like, the casino wasn't enough.
Oh, no,
The
that's not
casino
it
needed
for
to be
me.
more like the movie. And I was like, I actually don't think the casino needed to be more like the movie. I think the casino could have been better, but that's not, but I don't mean better as in like the movie. I loved Hermes. I'm maybe one of the only people that likes Lynn as Hermes, maybe. I love that casting, and I think it's great.
He's so interesting.
I will die on it. I will die on that hill. I think he's fantastic, and nobody will ever make me think otherwise. I think that he is the right amount of mischievous and weird and sneaky that needs to be so underlying for the character of Hermes, because it's like when you read all the books, you know that Hermes has been doing everything that Hermes does is like a premeditated thing, thinking about Luke and where Luke has to end up as a character. So everything that Hermes does is with that in mind, pretty much. And it's like, if that's not Lin-Manuel Miranda, I don't know what is. You know what I mean?
I do remember when Twitter got that announcement. That was one of the funniest days on that app.
I was the only person that saw the vision.
I did see it, but I don't think he's a bad Hermes. I just think it's funny. I just have personal beef with Hermes as a character.
100%.
So every time I see Hermes, I'm like, here he go again. Like, I'm so...
I like him as Hermes so much better than like Nathan Fillion in the movies.
I do agree.
And people will lay on a bed of nails saying that Nathan Fillion's the best casting that could have ever possibly been for Hermes. And I'm like, he's just a guy. He doesn't have any of the qualities that Hermes needs to have.
What's so funny to me about Hermes, and now I'm just thinking about this, is like, for Hermes has the most populated cabin at Camp Half-Blood. And I was like, everybody and their mother was ready, lining up for Lin-Manuel Miranda. But then I was like, which I'm not saying he's terrible, but then I was like,
he's that ugly.
No, but I was like, oh my God, as a former theater girly, well, always a theater girly, but as a former high school, I was like, there's always only like 1 or 2 straight guys in the theater class. I said,
that's so true.
That's it.
But you also have to, but like in the world of theater, you have to think about the other like famous theater men that are straight next to Lynn, and it's like what our options are. Specifically in Hamilton, we've got Davy Diggs,
fantastic. Yeah.
And then we've got like Aaron Tveit. You put Lin-Manuel Miranda in a lineup of straight theater men, I fear he still falls to the bottom.
Yeah.
But hey, that's neither here nor there.
You know,
but
that's the way it is.
But for the episode, I loved them talking to Hermes.
Yeah.
I loved anything that referenced, like, the 5th book. Oh, and speaking of Lynn as Hermes, what is it all for if we don't get Philippa So as May?
I kind of, like, I've been back and forth about it, but I was like, ooh, I think that would work really well.
She just looks so much like Charlie.
Yeah, I think it could work.
It would just be too good.
It would be actually great, and she would
not,
kill it.
What's the TV show? Dr. Odyssey got canceled, so she's free. She's free.
She's already in the Disney payroll system.
Exactly. Just whip up a contract. But so I loved getting to see Hermes talk to, like, oh my God, when I think it's Annabeth goes, we're friends of Luke's, when he's at like the casino table and Hermes is all charm and all ooh, woe is me, and then Annabeth goes, we're friends of Luke, and his face immediately drops. I was like, yeah, exactly. That's so good. Lynn ate that up so much. I'm sorry, I can't. And then whatever, he like pushes them into another room or something through like time and space. I don't even know. But I like seeing him talk about Luke. I hope in season 2 when he's talking to Percy on the beach, I want that scene to be extended by 10 minutes just to talk about Luke. I do. I do.
I don't know if I want that much Hermes on my screen. I was like, he has to be in it. I understand he has to do what he has to do. Hermes talks to Percy more than he does Luke, and that's my issue.
But that's because he can't talk to Luke.
That is fair.
He can't. But also he sucks, so I'm not defending him. But it's just fair. Like, yeah, he's very silly. But like, I do think the bottom line, I do think Hermes does care about Luke, though.
He does.
But he cares about him in his own, like, kind of sick and twisted way, which I think a lot of the gods are. Hey, nobody had it worse in the Percy Jackson TV series than Daughters of Athena, which I am. I was having a bad time.
When I tell you, I was like, I can't defend her. I was trying so hard. I was fighting for my life.
I'm sitting there in my sweatshirt that says Cabin 6 Athena, and they're like shitting on her for all of episode 4, and I'm like, guys, this is a really bad look.
When I said Athena is a chaotic bisexual, because I talked about episode 4 on another podcast, I was like, this is how she is. This is how she is. Okay. Yeah. I was like, they're like, Athena let me in. It's not. Me slowly takes away my cabin. It's like,
no, slowly covers up my bandana in the background. But like, for episode 6, as much as I liked the stuff with Annabeth and Percy talking to Hermes, I thought that was so great. Anytime it cut to Grover and the other satyr, I was pissed. I was like, this sucks. This is bad. This is boring. You could have used that time with Grover to show like the really fun side of the casino, the part of the casino that kind of felt like it was missing, because I do like the notion of like Percy and Annabeth didn't really get distracted in the casino because they stayed together the whole time, versus in the books they all separate. So Annabeth and Grover do get distracted. I liked that, but you could have shown, like, Grover getting hella distracted on his own and doing these crazy fun things. What is up with Augustus? I don't, like, what are we going to... First of all, he looked like Mark Hamill.
He did.
I was like, why is Mark Hamill on my screen right now? And I was just like, I understand we're really setting up Pan. That's totally fine. I totally get that. But, like, this was not the episode to do that in, I don't think. And it just felt so... Like, I'm sure maybe... in a season or 2, Augustus will have a point, but he didn't, and he didn't by the end of season 1, so that inherently made it bad to me. And it even pissed me off even more because this came after episode 5, where I cared arguably the most about Grover's side scenes with Ares. I was like, you just made this incredible character development with Grover in episode 5, where every time it cut to Grover, I was like, oh yay, Grover's scenes, yay. And now I'm in episode 6, and I'm like, I want to die every time Grover's on my screen, which makes me sad because I love Grover.
Same. It's just, I wish they went a different way with how they did the whole thing. Like, even if they were doing it with Pan, it would have been interesting to see him go to different games or, like, at least explore a little bit more. But I can see production-wise why that wasn't the case.
And then I also didn't like episode 4.
Oh, okay, so that's a very Annabeth episode for me. That's up there. I fell in love with episode 4 recently. So this was like... Yeah, so this is very recent, but...
I do like the stuff with Annabeth, and I like, the scene of Annabeth and Percy underneath the arch where Percy, like, is talking in a British accent to, like, make her laugh. Like, I like that stuff. But, like, I think it is incredibly worth noting that episode 4 and episode 6 were written by the same dude.
That makes a lot of sense.
And I know his name, I don't know if I want to say it. I think he's involved with the musical. And I think
he was the writer of the musical, yeah.
His skills, I think, are better suited for Broadway, and we should keep him there. He's not coming back for season 2, which made me excited. No offense to him. I wish him the best in all of his endeavors. But
thanks for your contributions.
I think it is worth noting that, like, he did write my 2 least favorite episodes.
Yeah.
So
that's very fair. I think also for me, I was just like, can you please turn on the lights? Like, just like a little bit of brightness. Like, we could just go. When I was editing that for my video, I was like, oh my God, I have to put up the brightness because I can't see anything. I said, please turn up the lights.
Was reacting to the series back when I lived at home with my parents, so I was in my bedroom, and so my ring light was like right behind my computer. Now in my office, I have my ring lights facing the walls, because when I was reacting to Percy Jackson and my ring light was just on my face, like straight up on my face, I was like, guys, I kind of can't see what's on my screen right now because it's really bright in my room and I can't see what the fuck is going on.
It's like, I think that's Annabeth, and I think that's Percy.
Yeah. But, like, I really liked Echidna. I thought that she was great. I love that actress. I think the Chimera looked amazing. That's another one of my favorite things. I love getting to hear, like, the VFX designers talk about the process of designing the monsters. I think that is so cool. I want to interview the crew of Percy Jackson. Love the cast. But I'd like to interview the crew. Let me talk to the VFX and the ILM VFX um, people, let me talk to you about how you created these monsters and stuff. You know what I mean? Um,
If I sit
we
down,
talk.
oh my God, if I could sit down and like just let me shadow a writer's room, just let me like just sit there. That
Oh,
would,
they don't want us in the writers' room.
they don't want us in the writer's room at all. I get that completely. I will shut up. I will sign
Tyson's shirt
everything.
flies off. Poseidon's
Okay,
shirt
whoa, 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 whoa,
flies
whoa,
off.
whoa, whoa, whoa. Tyson, baby son.
I know he's not the same as Daniel. That's why I changed it to Poseidon. Poseidon's shirt
So hear me
accidentally
out.
flies off.
So hear
And
me
water
out.
starts to splash.
More Annabeth, and they're like, get out.
They have so much Annabeth though.
They
I
have
really
so
think they
much.
need
It's
us-
great.
they don't
I
need
was
us
just
there to
like,
tell
so
them that.
hear me out, hear me out. We have him play a different, Daniel play a different character. They're like, here you go, get out.
Oh, all I'm saying is if we were in that writer's room, we would have Charles Beckendorf on my screen immediately.
Selena, Charles, everybody lined up.
Charles would be I tell you what, we'd have Charles well before we had fucking Chris Rodriguez. I'll tell you that much for free. But I wasn't in the
First
writer's
shot
room,
of the
so-
show. It's just-
But I wasn't in the writer's room, so.
they don't want us in it, and I get it. I do get it. But as somebody, I was like, not everybody deserves a pen, but just let me like be in a corner, and just like see how like it works, because I know they were kicking their feet every time they wrote anything Percy and Annabeth. I think that's hilarious.
I think that they threw a party after they wrote episode 5. I think that they said, this is it. I think they all had some drinks. Yeah, but I do want to say I do definitely have 6 lower than episode 4. I just think 4 and 6 are my least favorite. 4, I feel like if it had more in it, if it was a little longer, maybe I would like it more.
Yeah.
But I mean, I feel like there is definitely a gap between how much I dislike 6. My cat's awake. Hi, buddy. Do you want to come say hi? But yeah, I do like there's definitely a gap between how much I dislike episode 6 and then how much I dislike episode 4.
That's fair. That's fair. Before we sadly wrap this up for the episode, I do want to talk about, because you do know some things for season 2, so we can't exactly do predictions, but I was like, what are you most anticipating to see during season 2 on screen?
I think, especially after what I saw, I'm most anticipating the siren scene. Like, I kind of already was, because that's just, like, I think the biggest scene from Sea of Monsters, honestly. Yeah. But from what I saw, like, and you know, they've given us Entertainment Weekly articles talking about how they're making changes to it, and now we know what the sirens look like. So I think even if you haven't seen what I saw, like, you can kind of tell, like, they're definitely going darker with it. It's going to be a lot more dramatic, and it's just, I think it's going to be a lot more intense than it is in the books. I'm super excited for the scene where Luke's army attacks camp.
I'm so interested in, because I'm still wrapping my mind around the timeline of it all. I'm like, I understand, kind of, but I'm still just, like, excited for it because it's something new. I'm always down for, like, if it works, like, put it in. Which makes, the book 4 very interesting, because that's the first time, if I'm not mistaken, that Luke's army attacks in the books.
Yeah,
so
they
like,
get, like, through the labyrinth.
Yeah. So now I'm, like, interested to see how that affects later seasons.
I'll say this, because this is something I do not know for sure, right? Because I've seen the fight scene, but I don't even know if the fight scene happens after the first chariot race scene or after the second one.
Okay.
I don't know which one it happens after. I've just seen what the cinematography is going to look like for it via the stunt department. So that's all I know of the fight scene. So I do think it's going to happen at the end, personally, and I think Charlie's trying to pull a Andrew Garfield and No Way Home type thing with us and make us think he's not going to be there when Thalia wakes up. But I would bet $10 right now, because I don't want to bet any more than $10. I would bet $10 that he is there when Thalia wakes up out of that tree.
I also do think that he's either there or he knows. I would not be. That's like the best way to do it.
I think him and Thalia are going to, like, make eye contact. And first of all, that's going to start the Thaluke ship train in the show.
Oh, no, the flashbacks will, because I will be seated. I will be starting. Yeah.
Oh, it's all going to be so good.
It's going to be so, it's so tragic.
But I think they've done enough changes where it's like, Annabeth is there for Luke's betrayal at the end of season 1. That's a gag. Annabeth physically sees Luke poisoning Thalia's tree. that's a gag.
Oh my
If
God.
we want to keep this little doomed triangle of people doomed, Luke should be there when Thalia wakes up. And I
Yeah.
think that they would do it. And especially if, like, she wakes up and the first thing she sees is Luke attacking camp, like...
She'd be like, what the... Yeah.
So, that's what I think.
And I think it will end with that.
But also, this might be a hot take. I don't know how you feel about this character. I'm really excited for anything with Clarice. I love the character of Clarice.
I have recently, like, when I reread Sea of Monsters, was like, oh no, I'm actually really excited to see how her dynamic with Ares is going to be seen on screen.
Exactly.
For so many reasons, and just like how her character arc is going to be. I do think she needs to stop fighting Percy near water. She clearly hasn't learned her lesson the first time, but I am really interested to see how her arc is. Like, I become more interested.
What's so funny about that is I feel like one of the big things about being a child of Aries is your ego, especially when it comes to battles. So it's like, no shit, she wants to keep battling Percy near water because she wants to be able to prove that she can beat a son of Poseidon near water. Like, that's actually good. That's good character writing almost, I'd say. And I just think she's so interesting. I love Clarice and Selena personally. That's another reason why I really need Selena to be in the show, because I think that their friendship could be so interesting, whether you go friendship or relationship with it. I tend to lean a little more relationship with the two of them, even though I also love Selena and Beckendorf. I've got a bit of a love triangle situation happening.
They could be a throuple. When in doubt, I'm like, everybody can just
Team Edward, Team Jacob.
Yeah, they could just throuple. Like, that would solve so many problems.
So, like, I go back and forth, obviously, like, between Selena Beckendorf and Selena and Clarice. Like, I just think that that's so good when you look at it from a relationship perspective. Like, it's buzzy is what it is. Like, I love it.
I see, like, just particularly book 5, everything that happens within that. I was like, oh.
Yes.
That's
like, what sold me.
Everybody's like, Percy with other people. I said, Percy and I was like, no, Percy and Annabeth are fine because we got, like, Clarice, Beckendorf,
everyone else
and
Selena. Messy. Percy and Annabeth are the really stable couple. Everyone else is messy as fuck.
I was like, that whole dynamic going on over there? Everybody's like, what's happening over there? Because...
Yeah. Obviously, I'm excited for anything involving Tyson. I love my little baby boy, Tyson. He's, like, one of my favorite characters ever. And then... Obviously, I'm excited for anything with Poseidon.
Of course.
I love him. When he showed up in the trailer, I was like,
I started laughing during my reaction. For so many reasons. When I was like, up here, of course.
The way he appeared, I said exactly.
All mysterious in the back, just like, I said, be serious. Why are you aura forming right now? Talk to your son.
I hope we get more Sally and Poseidon scenes in season 2. I don't know how.
I'm so interested in how they're doing them. But I also do wonder if they're going to introduce Paul this season or next. Because I can see it doing it this.
People fan casting Paul Blofeld as that other guy that's in Black Sails? Do you know who I'm talking about?
There's so many people in Black Sails. I don't know which one.
It's like he's like a sexy guy with brown, like dark black curly hair. He's British.
Okay, that's sounding a little familiar.
I keep seeing him everywhere, and it's like, go ahead. He's cute. Another one that I can post that Serena Carpenter gif about.
I was like, we need to have. I was like, Paul, just like, I need them to give.
Paul Blofeld needs to be more attractive than Toby Stephens for it to work.
Which will be very difficult, but also I can see them
Good luck
pulling
with
it
that
off.
one. Good luck with that one. You gotta find a... Now, I will say, the guy whose name I don't know from Black Sails with the black curly hair, no offense to Toby Stephens, he is more attractive than him. So, they could do it.
They could do it. I don't know.
He's also British.
But will they go with... Well, I mean, he doesn't necessarily have to be... I don't remember if Paul was, like, native New York or they even said that. I just know he's a teacher at the school. Yeah.
I don't even care. They can be lore and inaccurate. I don't care. British accents are better.
They just need to be pretty.
Listen, this is being 25 in a fandom, okay? Exactly. This is what it's like to be 25 years old in a fandom. You need attractive older men.
You have to. Like, the relief I had when... At first, I was like, why is like somebody older than me playing Tyson? And then I went, actually, no, I'm relieved because there finally is.
28.
I was like, finally, someone for me.
Well, it's so annoying because it's like, even, how old is Charlie Bushnell? Like
21, I think.
That's a child.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, that's such a child.
And it's like, I have mutuals and like, I have like IRL friends that are like, oh my God, Charlie Bushnell. And I'm like, that's a kid.
I was like, no,
that's a little boy.
I was like, that's a child. There's some people that I was like,
I can't.
Him and Aryan, I see, and I'm like, oh my God, those are children.
Well, Aryan is like freshly 18.
He's freshly 18.
Yeah, like when I was on set, they like Walker and Leo were getting ready to leave for the day, and I was sitting around talking with Walker, and then Aryan walked up, and Aryan was like, yeah, this guy's gotta get out of here. They kick him out early because he doesn't have to stay longer because he's not 18 yet. And Walker's like, not my fault. And Aryan's like, he doesn't want to get up and work. It was a whole thing. And I was like, okay, I'm just here. I'm 25.
I can't relate.
Babies. And then it's so stupid. My picture with Walker, my 25-year-old ass next to a 16-year-old Walker, and he's like this tall compared to me. And I'm like, this is ridiculous.
See, I have such a big fear when it comes to if I ever had a picture with Sandy to cast, because I'm 5 feet, so I'm shorter than Leah. So it's kind of over for me.
You would never be able to take a picture with Daniel. Oh, girl, you'd be up to his hip. I'm 5'5", almost 5'6".
They're like, Tatyana, can you jump, actually?
Oh my God, that's so funny. Because I'm definitely bending over in my picture with Leah. But like, how tall is she? She's 5'2"?
I think she's 5'2", yeah.
Yeah, I'm like 5'6", 5'5".
Yeah, I'm gonna get roasted by the entirety of the cast as soon as they're like, oh.
And this is my picture with Walker. His tall ass. This is ridiculous. I'm 25. He's a child.
That's hilarious.
It's so silly.
Yeah, so everybody's like, Tatyana, you can't. I was like, no, it's sadly true.
No.
I
would pay to see you get a picture with Daniel. That would be the funniest thing ever.
And he's just like, yeah, it was not gonna.
My new goal for you, I'll manifest this for you, and I'll put it on my 2026 vision board for you. I'm gonna Photoshop you at the season 3 premiere with Daniel, but I'm gonna put you up to the height of his knee.
That would be accurate. I don't think when I say it online, people don't believe me, and then they see me in person, they're like, oh, you actually are short. My great-grandmother, before she passed, was like, Tatyana, I need you to do me a big favor, because she was 4'11". She was like, marry someone tall. Break the cycle. You gotta
break the curse.
I have to break the cycle.
You have to ask Daniel if he has any tall friends.
I said, do you have anybody available?
We need to get you someone that's like 7 feet tall to like.
Okay, I don't need to jump, but
maybe
like
someone can get to like 5'5" in your family.
6'2", 3, we're good. We're gonna wrap this episode up. Do you have any lasting thoughts you would like to share?
This was really fun. This is my first time collabing with anybody. My cat just walked by my camera.
Oh my God, I love that.
Thanks, Indy. This is my first time collabing with somebody, and I had a lot of fun. I've always wanted to collab with somebody, but I never know how to go about that. So
big mood. This is why I started a podcast. I was like, I think I can do it like this. This is my excuse to talk to people.
So yeah, I'm always down to ever talk about Percy Jackson. So.
Me too. All right, where can the people find you if they want to find you and Indy?
You can find me pretty much anywhere, just at Cameron Silas. That's just my at on pretty much everything.
Perfect. All right, so we're gonna wrap this up, and yeah, I don't know how to end this actually. I'm still figuring that out.
We need an outro.
Oh, try to do with something of a takeaway, and when in doubt, I think.
I have a great takeaway.
Go ahead.
Toby Stevens.
Here we go.
Call me.
That's it. You can listen to the after show on Melanated Wise Girl YouTube or anywhere you listen to your podcast. Bye. And Toby, if you're listening, you should call her.
I see with my engagement ring on. You could be our third.
We gotta cut it. We gotta